Hello everyone and welcome to this flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are flying from Athens, Greece at Eleftherios Venizelos International Airport all the way to Istanbul, Turkey at Istanbul Airport. We do have a few VATSIM controllers online, so we will fly this flight online today with real ATC. At Athens Eleftherios Venizelos, we do have a approach controller who, according to VATSIM's top-down control philosophy, will do the jobs of the tower, ground, and delivery controllers today. And then we do have this bit of uncontrolled airspace over here. Hopefully other controllers will come online while we are en route. But if they don't, it's also fine because we do have an approach controller into Istanbul. And then when we go down to land, we have a tower controller as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up our flight plan using SimBrief. Okay, here we are in SimBrief. So we are departing from Eleftherios Venizelos, which is Lima Golf Alpha Victor, to Istanbul, Turkey, which is Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike. We are flying the Turkish Airlines today, and our call sign will be Turkish 146. The aircraft we are flying today will be the Airbus A320 by Fenix Simulations. Okay, there is the preview of our flight route. Looks pretty straightforward. Scheduled block time about an hour 25 minutes, taking off from runway 03 left. Let's just check on the ATIS here whether that is the runway in use. Departure, see, landing runway 03 right. But it doesn't say which one is the departure runway. Takeoff runway is the 03 left. Okay, so that's fine. And arrival into Istanbul, ATIS just went offline. We'll check in a bit later. But for now, we have chosen 35 right. Okay, that's fine. If we look at the traffic over here, it doesn't look too busy at Eleftherios Venizelos. There we are, of course, Turkish 146. But we don't expect any delayed departure. But we will, of course, need to run the APU for the air conditioning during the boarding process, so that the passengers find the cabin nice and warm. Temperature is 21 degrees Celsius. So it's not too cold, not too warm. So we don't need to take additional fuel. So let's just generate this flight plan. Okay, here we go. So Turkish 146 today is our call sign from Lima Golf Alpha Victor to Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike, which is all good. Our alternate today is Sabiha. Yeah, I'm not gonna butcher that word, but it's okay. We are probably not going there anyway. Block time, hour 31 minutes. Actual air time, just an hour. Cruising altitude today is 37,000 feet and a cost index of 42. Okay, so that's fine. Let's then pre-file this on the VATSIM network so that the controllers can have a look at it. Right, there's all our information imported into VATSIM. There's nothing that we need to change over here. I'm just gonna go and file this flight plan. Flight plan is filed, so let's hop into the simulator and start preparing for our flight. Okay, here we are in the cockpit of our Airbus A320. As we mentioned, today we are flying Turkish Airlines, and here we are at our gate today at Eleftherios Venizelos. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. As you can see, we are connected to VATSIM, and we do have quite a number of aircrafts on the ground already, which is quite nice. We are at Bravo 09 today. That's our stand. Okay, let's start preparing for our flight. We do have a ground power attached today, so batteries on and external power. Okay, aircraft systems are loading. So while that is ongoing, let's import our flight plan from SimBrief into our EFB over here. There we go. Depart scheduled to depart from the gate in about 29 minutes. So that's fine. Let's look at the mass and balances. We are taking along 148 passengers today, with about 2,220 kilograms of cargo, and for that we are going to need 5,386 kilograms of fuel. We already have 3,000 kilograms in the tanks, so that is fine. Maybe just to simulate a little bit longer refueling, I might say reduce it in, just say, to 2,000, and then we load the remaining 3,000. Okay, that looks fine. So let's start loading the aircraft, starting with refueling and catering services, and then we board the passengers after. We're going to use GSX for that. Okay, GSX seems to be taking its time. Oh, there we go.
Truck is on its way.
Let's set up the overhead panel.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Fuel pumps on. Arm the emergency exit lighting. Switch on the no smoking sign. Seatbelt sign can go on as well, because passengers will only start boarding after refueling. Nav and logo lights can come on, and crew oxygen supply as well. Ground control, and we can set our initial navigation system to nav so it can start aligning. So long. Okay, that is all well and good.
Fuel truck is in position.
Fuel truck is in position, so let's just see what's happening outside.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Okay, catering services are still on their way. So let's initialize our flight. So you go ATSU menu, AOC menu, and flight init, and then we download that from SimBrief. Will take a bit of time. There we go. Turkish 146 from Greece, Athens to Turkey, Istanbul. So let's initialize the route as well from SimBrief, and while that's downloading, we can fill in our call sign today, which is Turkish 146, and we said that our
use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
Said that our cost index today is 42, and cruising altitude of 370 today, 37,000 feet. And while we are here, we can import the wind data as well. While that's downloading, let's have a look at what's happening outside. Okay, still no catering services in sight. Interesting. Okay, refueling is ongoing. Oh good, so let's look at the init B page as well. Then we can fill in the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight center of gravity, so from the preliminary load sheet. So let's do that. Received messages, says our load sheet. Okay, zero fuel weight today 58.1 tons, and zero fuel weight center of gravity is 30.8%. We said that the block fuel today is 5.4 tons. 5.4. Okay. Calculated takeoff weight by the aircraft 63.3 tons. Calculated takeoff weight according to the load sheet 63.2. A little bit of a difference. It might be because of the block fuel. But it's fine. We'll update this information once we get the final load sheet. So 63.2, that's agreeing with what the aircraft has calculated, so we'll accept that load sheet. What we will need to update as well is the alternate fuel today, which is 0.7, and then our final reserve 1.0. Also okay there. Trip fuel about 3.2. Trip fuel 2.7. 2.7. Yeah, 2.7 plus. Okay, that's interesting. That's actually never the same. So, but we can't change it, so it's fine. Let's see. Final reserve plus alternate fuel is 1.8 at 1.7. Minimum destination fuel on board about 1.7. So a little bit different over there, but I think that's fine. Taxi fuel 2.3, 0.2, okay, 230 kilos. That's fine. Refueling is still ongoing. Passengers will start boarding as soon as the refueling is done, so you can switch on to the PA system and listen to the cabin crew making the announcements. Okay. Right, there is no catering services coming, it appears. That's interesting. We're going to just call request catering service. Okay, so while we wait for the refueling process to complete, which it is almost, it's actually done, 538, we can start the APU so that the passengers, when they start boarding, the cabin is air conditioned. And start. APU starting. In the meantime, we will tune to the ATIS frequency so that we can listen to the ATIS information. ATIS today is on 136.125. APU is starting. Refueling is done. Truck must be leaving now. Okay, it appears that GSX does not want to do catering for us today. APU is available, so we can switch on the APU bleed. Okay, let's wait for the passengers to start boarding, and then we can start requesting for our clearance already from the controller today. Still 20 minutes to schedule departure. Okay, it looks like GSX is glitching. The fuel truck does not want to leave, so we should actually just restart it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our flight. Please place your large bags into the overhead lockers, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in
Boarding
front of
requested.
you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free and loose items of clothing. If you are seated in an emergency exit row or a front row bulkhead seat, all of your items must be placed into an overhead locker. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat.
Okay,
To help
so
ensure an on-time departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no-smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
okay, had a little bit of an issue with GSX over there, so seems to be okay now.
Do you want to board crew? Passengers boarding starting.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to need to open the cargo doors. Okay, so let's get our clearance from the controller. Cargo doors are open. Okay, so it appears that GSX will not render the, or rather Microsoft Flight Simulator will not render the catering services today. Not sure what is happening, but okay, we do have the baggage loading rendered today. Okay, so let's tune to the 80s and listen for the information.
Landing runway 03 right. Takeoff runway 03 left. Transition level 100. Wind 030 at 21. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 21. 2.10. QNH 1016. Specific ATIS instruction. Concentration of birds in the airport vicinity. Advise on initial contact. You have listened to information Charlie.
Okay, that was information Charlie. QNH 1016, transition level 10,000 feet today. Departure runway 03. Okay, so let's set QNH 1016. Transition level 10,000 feet. So 10,000. Okay. All good. So while the passengers are boarding, now we no longer have sync with the aircraft, so I'm not sure what we are going to do about that. Maybe we figure it out once GSX has done loading the passengers, and then yeah, okay, it's fine, we'll sort it out later. Okay, so we do have a approach controller who will do the departure clearance for us today. Let's just set their frequency. It is on 132.975.
Okay, test instruction. Concentration of birds in the airport vicinity. Advise on initial contact. You have listened to information Charlie.
132.
Here is Athens Venizelos. Take test information Charlie. Recorded at 1320 Zulu. Approach type ILS Zulu. Landing runway 03 right.
12, sorry.
All correct, the GNA 54, call me ready for push and start.
Athena καλησπέρα, GN224, ready rest.
The GN224, read you 5x5.
Overhead lockers, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty free.
Okay, there are people talking on the frequency, so that is good. Means we have our radios set up and working. Let's see, 13 minutes to leave the gate. Hopefully we don't need that much to sort out the GSX issue. Okay, so let's see, according to our flight plan, we are taking off from 03 left via the Kilo Romeo Oscar 1 hotel departure, and then direct, then after that is the Uniform November 604 airway, and then in bed to Alpha arrival into Istanbul for runway 35 right. Okay, so we will look at this if this is what we get from the controller. Okay, let's go ahead and ask for our clearance. Let's reduce the volume here. Athens approach, hello, Turkish 146 at stand Bravo 09 is type Airbus A320 with information Charlie. Requesting our clearance to Istanbul, Turkey as filed.
Turkish 146, Athena approach, Kalispera, clear to Istanbul, via the Karistos 1 hotel departure, runway 03 left, initial climb 7000, squawk 2056.
Clear to Istanbul as filed, Kilo Romeo Oscar 1 hotel departure, initial climb 7000 feet, squawk 2056 for Turkish 146.
Turkish 146, readback is correct, call me ready for push and start.
Okay, so
taxi, Olympic
controller is speaking a little bit
Olympic
fast,
Sierra Lima, taxi to runway 03 left,
but it's fine.
Kilo
Transponder
and
code
Alpha.
2056
Kilo Alpha for 03 left.
and then set the transponder to auto. Going to reduce the volume because we are not going to get any more instructions right now. Okay, so transponder code is set. Initial climb is 7,000 feet.
GN854, gate Bravo 07, ready for push
And we got the
GN854, clear for pushback.
departure that we have filed out of. Okay, it says here boarding completed, so we'll sort out the sync issue now.
GN854, clear for pushback, direction south, QNH 1016.
Okay, so runway 03 left, and then it's going to be the Kilo Oscar Romeo 1 hotel departure. We are going to take the, we said we are going to go ILS 35, was it 35 right? ILS-35 right, probably ILS Yankee, we can always change that via the inbed to Alpha. And of course we can get something different from the controller, but that is fine. So let's look at our flight plan on the navigation display. So straight out, not exceeding 235 knots, we make a sharp left turn to Alpha Victor 034 above 6,000 feet, and then we go direct Kilo Oscar Romeo.
Speed we're 66 Golf Alpha, line up and wait, runway 03 left. Line up and wait, 03 left, speed
Okay.
66 Golf Alpha.
That is interesting because that's taking us in the opposite direction. Is it? Doesn't look correct actually on the navigation display. Kilo Romeo. This is interesting. Doesn't look right at all.
Again, 122 requesting IFR clearance to Thessaloniki with information.
Again, 122, make sure you've uploaded your flight plan.
Kilo Romeo. Did I select the correct departure? Let's see. Departure 03 left. Kilo Oscar. It's Kilo Romeo Oscar. There's the problem. Okay, so 03 left. Kilo Romeo Oscar 1 Hotel. There we go. Much better. I think now it should be correct. Okay, that's correct now. So we take off and go direct Alpha Victor 032 waypoint, not exceeding 235 knots, and then we make a sharp right to Alpha Victor 037 above 59,000 feet, and then we go direct Auxil, Sosir, Atsov, and then Lima Sierra Victor, Amani, Sudes, and then inbed. Before that, we need to start our descent already and join our arrival into Istanbul. Okay, that looks fine to me. Let's look at it in the chart as well. Let's make sure we are on the same page. We already made the mistake of choosing an incorrect departure there. Kilo Romeo Oscar. Kilo Romeo Oscar 1 Hotel. Kilo Romeo Oscar 1 Hotel is over here. So there we go. Go, make a right, not exceeding 235, make a right over 9,000 feet at Alpha Victor 037, and then Kilo Romeo Oscar, and then after that we join as filed. Okay, that looks fine then. Now we have 5 minutes to leave the gate, so let's try to fix the mass balance issue now. Say reset all possibly. And then my guess would be re-import the flight from SimBrief, and then we will then say load the aircraft, and we will just call instant because we already done all the processes with GSX. So go say instant, and there we have the aircraft loaded, and so we can send our load sheet to the MCDU. Okay, here's our load sheet.
Taxi to runway 03 left via Echo in India, Hotel Bravo.
This is interesting because the volume is low, but the sound is still coming up very high.
climb 240 off passing 5.
But let's see. Okay, we have the load sheet. Actually, we get to now. This is the latest. So let's look at the updated init B information. 58.1 is still 0 fuel weight, and the center of gravity is 31.2, so not changed. Let's see here. Calculated takeoff weight is 63.2 now. Because block fuel is okay, but it's fine. 63.3, 63.2. Might be a discrepancy of the fuel in the tanks. Not really. Okay, so that's fine. Then 5, possibly because it should be 5.3, and then it be 63.2. Okay, so that's fine. Then we are almost ready to go. Let's do our takeoff performance calculations. Okay, departure runway 03 left, dry today. Flap configuration we do 1+F. Anti-ice is not required. We can do a PAX off takeoff. Actually, let's do a PAX on takeoff today, and then sync up the information on takeoff weight, and takeoff weight center of gravity from the load sheet, and then sync up the weather and then calculate. So 137 knots for V1, 140 knots for V rotate, and 140 knots for V2. With flaps 1 configuration, we have got a trimmable horizontal stabilizer of 0.3 down and a flex temperature of 60 degrees. I'm not going to fill in all of this. I'm just going to say send to MCDU, and there's all our information imported. Okay, let's look at the checklist. Cockpit preparation is done, barometers is set, QNH 1016 confirmed, ACAS is initialized, parking brake is set, fuel on board is confirmed 5.38 tons, init B is loaded, flex temperature is calculated 60 degrees, takeoff speeds are calculated. 137 knots for V1, 140 knots for V rotate, and 140 knots for V2. And with that, we can ask for our startup clearance. Beacon, actually before that, let's disconnect from the ground power and switch on the beacon lights. Wing lights can come on as well. Okay, and with that, we can ask for our startup clearance. So let's turn up the volume here.
Monitor Unicom 122.8, yes.
Hello, Captain.
Gen 854, connect to Unicom 122.800, yes.
Yes.
Turkish 146 is ready for push and start.
And Turkish 146, QNH 1016, clear for pushback facing south on Echo. And monitor Unicom on 122.8, thank you.
Push and start approved facing south on Echo, QNH 1016, and monitor Unicom on 122.8 for Turkish 146. Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, it looks like the controller is going offline now. So there is no more ATC after this, unfortunately. 122.8.
Look here.
One, 2.8. So the gate disconnected without closing the door. Let's see. How did that happen? Close that door. Okay, facing south means that we have to do nose left today. So you go nose left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brake is released.
Come engine push. All engines clear. Start at GUI.
Thank you. So engine number 2 start. There's engine number 2 starting. Okay. Generator for engine number 2 just came online. Engine is available. Start engine number 1. Interesting pushback by GSX over here today. Very interesting. Because we are not facing south at all. Should have been on this line over here. So perhaps next time we use the quick edit pushback. Engine number 2 is starting.
Please set parking brakes.
Parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, generator for engine number 1 came online. Engine number 1 is available. Can we start switching to normal and switch off the APU. Okay, after start checklist, ground equipment will be removed now. Anti-ice is not required. Flap configuration for today is flaps 1.
Tow track disconnected. Bypass be removed.
APU is off. Yellow electric pump is on. Trims
Left is clear. Right is clear.
0.3 down today. 0.3, somewhere around there. Cabin doors are armed. ECAM status is checked. It's normal. After start checklist completed. And with that, we are ready to go, but we don't have a controller online, so we will just coordinate on the frequency on the 1 to 2.8. Let's see how we're going to go. Just zoom that. Any minute now. There we go. So there we go on echo. The runway we are taking off from is 03 left, and we are told to face south, so we are facing this way. That means we taxi via echo, and then we can go India, and then we go hotel, and then we go Bravo, and then actually, is it Bravo or is it Alpha? I think the taxi on the right hand side, so we go Alpha and then we go holding point Alpha 2. Okay, so we said we go Echo, then we go India, then we go hotel, then Alpha, and then holding point is going to be Alpha 2 today. Okay, let's announce on the frequency. Athens ground, Turkish 146, taxiing to runway 03 left via Echo, India, Hotel, Alpha at holding point Alpha 2, or Athens traffic. Okay.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Ah, cool. Thank you.
Aegean 854 ready for takeoff, runway 03 left.
Okay, so let's go. We are on Echo. Okay, so takeoff checklist, auto brake max, spoilers arm, takeoff config test, all good. Radar and weather radar and predictive wind shear is on. Okay, flight control check. Ailerons full left, full right, neutral. Elevators full down, full up, neutral. Radars, radar left, radar right, neutral. Flight control check is complete. We make a right here on India.
Aegean 854 climbing at flight level 116.
Sure. Before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked. TCAS. Okay, we make the we follow the India over here. And then we make a right onto hotel over there. We make a right over here. Left is clear, right is clear. We make our right turn onto hotel. Okay. Then we make a second, we take the second left onto Alpha. Left is clear, right is clear. We take the second left. Took that turn a little too fast. Okay, we are now on Alpha. Before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked. TCAS, TARA. Departure brief is done. Takeoff data and FMA is done. Flaps are set for takeoff. ECAM memo. Takeoff no blue. Okay, we're going to slow down because there's our turn for holding point Alpha 2. Right, entering the runway. Takeoff runway is confirmed, is 03 left. There's Alpha 2 is coming up now. Make the turn and let's announce ourselves on the network. Turkish 146 lining up 03 left takeoff for Athens traffic. Left is clear, I don't see any aircraft coming in. Right is also clear. So let's line up. Okay, there we go. Strobes on. Take landing lights on. We're doing a PAX on takeoff today, so we can start the clock and let's go. Athens traffic, Turkish 146 taking off runway 03 left. Athens traffic. Okay, let's go. Stable. Doga SRS runway. V1 rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Climb thrust set. Spoilers disarm. Autopilot on. Turkish 146 is airborne from 03 left. Athens traffic. Okay, so all good. After takeoff, checklist landing gear is up, ECAM is checked. Cleared to a flight level of 70 or 7,000 feet. Barometers will be set to standard when we pass our transitional altitude. Alright. Flaps up. Okay, that's our initial cleared altitude of 7,000 feet coming up. Of course, we don't have any more ATC, so we will just climb from here to our flight level, cruising flight level of 370. And we'll do manage climb. You have to respect all of these altitude constraints and speed limits over here. Thank you, cabin crew, for that announcement. I think from here, since we don't have ATC, we're gonna go direct. We're gonna go direct Amani. Take a shortcut. Direct Amani. Okay, we are passing 10,000 feet now, which is also our transition altitude. So altimeter set to standard. Landing lights can come off, and we can release the passengers as well by switching off the seatbelt sign. And with that, we can just climb now to our cruising altitude and accelerate to our cruising speed as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Okay, we are just reaching our cruising altitude now. Of course, we will of course increase our speed a little bit here because we were delayed at the gate. So let's see which controllers are still online. Okay, the approach controller in Istanbul is offline. We only have now tower controller online, so that is fine. ATIS information is actually saying that the approach runways are ILS X-ray 435 right, or ILS Yankee 436. Okay, that is okay. While we have some bit of peace and quiet, let's start briefing for our arrival, because we don't have a controller online, so we don't expect it to change. Okay, so let's just set it up over here because we didn't set ILS X-ray. So ILS X-ray 35 right via the inbed 2 alpha, and that is fine. Okay, so let's see. We go to our charts over here, and we go to Istanbul arrival inbed 2 alpha. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Inbed 2 Bravo, inbed 2 Papa, inbed 2 Alpha. Okay, there's our inbed 2 Alpha. This is the RNAV, of course. Let's look for the ILS 1. possibly. Well, no, have arrivals. Okay, but it's fine. Let's see. They have a different one for the ILS. No, they do not. That is fine. So how do we go in then? In bed, there we go. Under flight level 250 and at speed 280 knots. And then we descend so that by Google we are at 250 knots our speed and between flight level 150 and 170. Then we go to Foxtrot Mike 723 between flight level 140 and 12,000 feet. And then we make a right turn, continuing our descent. By Foxtrot Mike 725 we should be at 9,000 feet and not exceeding 230 knots. And then we join this one that I'm guessing should have been a DME arc, but it's now a series of waypoint. Foxtrot Mike 730 all the way to 734 while still at 9,000 feet. And then after that we make a right to Foxtrot Mike 735 and then Imran. There we are descending to 4,000 feet and reducing our speed to 220 knots. And then after that, there's the airport. So we join our arrival now for 35 right. So let's check out that chart. ILS X-ray 35 right. Let's see. ILS X-ray 17. ILS X-ray 17. ILS. Let's go 35 right, 34 left. ILS Zulu 35 right. Yankee 35 right. X-ray 35 right. We're gonna grab both just the ILS and the Cat 2. Still far from our top of descent, so let's continue briefing our approach. So ILS 35 right. Here's our chart today. So of course, so after the Imran waypoint we make a left to face the airport. Imran is over here, so that's the left to face the airport. So continuing Funde Orun Mefaz, continuing our descent of course to 3,000 feet by Orun, so that is our altitude to intercept the glide slope, and then we make a left into the airport. Okay, so let's enter our destination data for today while we are here. So for the approach we said, if you look at our chart over here, our decisional altitude for today is 510 feet. 510 feet. We'll do a config 3 landing today. So let's look at the ATIS information. Arrival, let's just update that. So wind 03 degrees 16 knots, that's quite a lot. Broken clouds at 8,000 feet, temperature 14, 2.10 degrees, QNH 1020. That's okay, that's all the pertinent information that we need. Okay, so let's insert that. 030 degrees 16 knots. Temperature is 14. QNH is 1020. Okay, and with that, our approach speed is calculated to be 137 knots. Let's look at our transition altitude on the ATIS, but this is departure ATIS. but it's fine. Let's see if we have the transition altitude indicated here. Okay, the transition altitude is not indicated. Let me just check on the arrival ATIS quickly. It's not indicated, so we will just use the one on the chart then, which is 12,000 feet, which is also what's inserted. So that's all good. Then we are set up. Company message received from our Turkish operations. Are we delayed? Of course we are delayed for 1 minute. We are going to assign that delay to delay at the ramp, loading error, of course, RLL. Okay, so 1 minute delay. 1 minute for loading error, and we can send that. Okay, top of descent is coming up. Our first altitude constraint is 250, under 250 by inbench. We can already start decelerating as well. Company message received. We have gotten Turkish operations has gotten our air delay card. Okay, so descent flight level 250. While we are here, let's as well look at the runway. I don't know what the runway is like, but we might want to look at our arrival performance over here. 35 right. Apply the weather information. Our landing weight today, not that, we have got takeoff weight for today was 63,245 kilograms. Our trip fuel was apparently 2,727. So if we subtract that, we get 60.5 tons. So 60.5. Does that look realistic? We are 61.3 at the moment. I think that's okay. We will see. If we use low auto brake, full flaps, idle, no reversers, and auto thrust, we are okay. Only need about 2,000 feet, 2,000 kilometers, 2,000 meters of runway to stop. So that is all good. So let's just keep our chart open over here. Okay, we are descending pretty quickly in order to meet that altitude constraint. Up to now, we only still have tower controller online at Istanbul. Hopefully they will still be online by the time we get there. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Okay, that's flight level 250 coming up. Our next altitude constraint, we are going to aim for 150, which is the minimum by Google. So 150. Manage descent. What we will also want to do now, while we are far out, is to set up our arrival, which is Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike 35 right. We want to always know how far we are, so that we can announce ourselves on the VATSIM network before we connect to tower, which by the way are on 130.625. Good. Okay, next we want to extend the center line as well, so we're just going to use the fixed page for that. Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike 35 right. That one has got a runway heading of 354. So the opposite of that is 174. That should be fine. There we go. Alright. Okay, there we have passed our deceleration point in order to make the speed limit of 250 knots by Google. So there's our speed coming back now. Okay, so Google, and then after that we make a right to join this little bit of arc here. Okay, Google, we are between 170 and 150, so that's fine. I will of course want to get into 12,000 feet now by Foxtrot Mike 723. Should be between 140 and 12,000. 12,000 is of course the transition level over there. We have a deceleration point coming up there as well for the 230 knots, which we must be at by Foxtrot Mike 725. Of course, we can continue our descent now, 9,000 feet. And now we set the QNH as well. 10. Was it 1010 or was it 1020? I believe it was 1020. Let's just make sure. 1020. Of course, we just need to make sure that it's still up-to-date information. QNH 1020 is fine. Wind is now 18 knots, so still 030. about 18 knots now. More drag is required in order to meet that altitude constraint. We go speed brake full. Temperature is still 40. Okay, that is fine. Let's open up our chart again. We are 51 miles out. So now we continue at 9,000 feet all the way to Foxtrot Mike 734. And there's our deceleration to 230 knots. Speed brake can be retracted because we have reached 9,000 feet. Let's see, I think the visibility should be fine. Just a little bit of clouds over here. Of course, we are still 50 miles out. Broken at 8,000 feet.
Cabin crew must now be seated for landing. Thank you.
Okay, that was quick.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Thank you. Do we have terrain over here? Because now we can't see anything, but we should be flying over the water. Of course we are, but then we will make a left turn and we'll fly over land for a bit. There we go. Okay, oh good. Of course there are no mountains in the vicinity here in Istanbul, or at least where we are flying at the moment. I don't know where we are in Turkey. All I know is that we are going to Istanbul. Ice detected. Ice is detected, so engine anti-ice. Will also have the probe heat on as well as wing anti-ice. Interesting. Why it's very cold down there or up here when the ground temperature is only 14. Visibility is poor, can't see anything over here, but at least we are well above the terrain. And now we are 30 miles out. Ice is no longer detected at this altitude, so wing anti-ice and engine anti-ice and as well as probe heat can come on. We are under 10,000 feet, so I think now is also a good time to switch on our landing light as well as seatbelt sign. We are going to fly over the water, so I don't think the terrain or navigation display is required anymore. After Imran, of course, we can then go direct GIGABYTE to intercept the localizer for runway 35 right. Right now we are 23 miles, and I think it's a good time to announce ourselves on the VATSIM network. So yeah. Okay, 122.8 is where we are tuned, so let's announce ourselves on the network. Istanbul traffic, Turkish 146 is 23 miles on the ILS X-ray 435 right. Currently en route Imren, Turkish 146. There we go. There isn't anyone else who's announcing themselves, but I do see a couple of aircrafts in the vicinity. Most of them are probably on final already anyway. So we said that we have a tower controller on 130.625. That's well tuned in the standby radio frequency. Oh, good. Does not look like we are going to be at 4,000 feet by Imren. I think we would want to descend a little bit faster. And we are going to use a speed brake in order not exceed the speed limit too much. And of course we are going to need to decelerate. To 20 knots coming up. Now of course we have a discontinuity there, so we can continue our descent to 3,000 feet. To 220 knots, actually 205 as well, because we do have speed constraint there at GIGABYTE. Speed brake is still extended while speed is coming down. Okay, we are okay now. Okay, I think now is a good time to go direct GIGABYTE. Insert. And this should now be a managed descent so that we meet that altitude constraint. Let's look at the approach phase. Looks like it's already activated. Yep, it's activated. What's our go around altitude for today? Missed approach, climb 3,000 feet straight ahead to Ladux, and then at Ladux turn left to intercept the 355 radial uniform hotel Mike, and then proceed to Foxtrot Mike 0900 and hold, maximum 230 knots. So missed approach altitude 3,000 feet, and we are all right. So 3,000 feet is coming up. Let's look at our approach checklist. Approach checklist, ECAM status checked. Approach type and runway, ILS X-ray 35 right. Minimas are set for today, 510 feet. Approach phase is active, clear to an altitude of 3,000 feet. Barometers are set for QNH 1020 hectopascals. Good. We said that our fuel, our landing weight estimated was 60.5. We currently have a gross weight of 60.6. My guess is that we were a little bit off with our estimated landing weight, but that's all good. The according to the chart, the localizer should be coming in at GIGABYTE. Okay. So switch on the landing system. We are already getting the localizer signal, of course, because we are close, and we can turn the localizer to capture it. And now is also a good time to make the last announcement on the Unicom frequency, and then switch over to the tower frequency.
2,500.
Istanbul traffic, Turkish 146 is 16 mile on the ILS X-ray 35 right. Istanbul traffic. And we switch to tower 13065.
Runway 26.
Tango Charlie Alpha Yankee Golf, clear for right-hand traffic pattern at runway 36, not above 1,500 feet, QNH 1020, squawk VFR, startup approved.
Let's slow down some more. Flaps
Right
1.
flash pattern runway 36, mobile 1,500. Squawk VFR, QNH 1020, startup approach. Tango Charlie Alpha Yankee Golf.
Alpha Yankee Golf, correct.
There we have the glide slope signal as well.
Turkish 6009, report Chestnut. Turkish 6009.
And there we have got the localizer captured.
Face south, QNH 1020.
QNH 1020 and heading south. Turkish 6009.
Istanbul Tower, hello. Turkish 146 with you on the localizer for 35 right. We have information Sierra.
Turkish 146, continue approach, information Sierra, correct?
Continue approach for Turkish 146. Okay, so continue the approach. A word of caution though for Istanbul over here. The airport that came with Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course, did not have the Istanbul airport modeled, only the runways. This airport, of course, I had to get it from the Microsoft store, and what I've realized is that the puppies and the glide slope on some of the runways that I've used so far is not very consistent with the terrain around the airport, so it makes the landing a little bit challenging. So let's see how it will go today. Flaps 2. Okay, there is the glide slope coming, so we can slow down to our approach speed. Flaps 3. Glide slope is coming, it's captured, so all good. Gear down. Okay, gear down, flaps full. Okay, and now we continue our approach. Landing checklist, auto brake low, spoilers arm. East approach altitude 3,000 feet, which is what's in the computer order.
Turkish 146, the wind 030, 18 knots, runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land 35 right for Turkish 146. Very windy today, we have a crosswind coming from the right, 23 knots.
Turkish 6009 ready for taxi.
Turkish 6009.
This is going to be interesting, isn't it?
35 right via Tango 2.
ICA memo, landing no blue.
Tango 2, Echo 8 and
Landing
Charlie 1
checklist
Alpha.
complete.
Caution the Austrian MD83 in front.
My goodness.
Turkish 6009.
That is some serious winds.
Holding point 35 right via Tango 2, Echo 8 and Charlie 2, Charlie 1 Bravo.
18 knots. We said, okay.
Turkish 6009, that's Charlie 1 Alpha.
Charlie 1 Alpha.
What I might want to do is actually fly this thing now. So disconnect the autopilot and the flight directors, so that I get used to the side stick already.
Istanbul Tower, Aegean 995 A320 stand 5, Alpha clearance to Athens Eleftherios.
Aegean 995.
Puppies.
Istanbul Tower, good
2
evening,
white,
clear to Athens.
2 red.
4 Delta departure, runway 35 left. Initial climb 5,000 feet, score 6422.
Cleared Athens, Ivgus 4 Delta departure, runway 35 left, initial
Now,
climb
of course, these
5,000
puppies
feet,
might
score
mislead us,
6422,
as I mentioned
Aegean
before.
995.
Aegean 995, read back correct.
But at the moment, it says that we are on glide.
Turkish 146, plan to vacate Charlie 9.
Try to vacate Charlie 9 for his 146. Charlie 9. We'll try our best.
500.
Now, of
4.
course, we look like we are very close to the ground, and now is where things start getting interesting.
300. 100 above.
Because now the glide and the puppies start to misbehave a little bit.
200. Minimum. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Come on, settle down. Okay. Of course, we missed the touchdown zone. Full reversers. $80 knots. 60 knots. Okay, let's see if we can see Charlie 9
6
from.
Mike Delta, Istanbul Tower, good evening. Pass your message.
Turkish 6 Mike Delta, stand Foxtrot 8 left, information.
This
Foxtrot
is
on board,
Charlie 8.
Stockholm Airbus A320, ready for execution.
Charlie 9 is
6 Mike
upcoming.
Delta, Roger, stand by, number 1. Break. Turkish 6009. By Charlie 1 Alpha, cross runway 35 right. Wind 030, 18 knots, runway 35 left, cleared for takeoff.
Portable electronic devices for messaging.
Turkish 6009, cross runway 35 right and clear for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Make sure you take all your personal belongings with you. Check
And this is Charlie 9.
Tower, good evening, Welling 2.
Or is it?
overhead lockers.
Welling 245 Istanbul Tower, good evening. Break. Turkish 6 Mike Delta, clear to Stockholm. Blacks for Echo, departure runway 36,
Course, this
initial
is Charlie
climb
9.
8,000 feet, squawk 6410.
Now we go over here.
Blacks for Echo 8,000 feet, 6410, Turkish 6 Mike Delta.
Turkish 146, taxi stand Bravo 1 left via Charlie and Echo 8.
Taxi to stand Bravo 1 Charlie via Charlie and Echo Link for Turkish 146.
Turkish 146, that's Bravo 1 left via Charlie and Echo 8.
Stand Bravo 1 left via Charlie and Echo Link for Turkish 146. Thanks. Now, of course, we are not taxiing on the correct line because the
Welling 245, did you have a request?
Yes, good evening, Welling 245, flight plan to...
now, of course, we slow down a little bit so that we can switch off the landing lights. The strobes
Welling
are no longer
245, clear
required.
to Athens, Iftus 4 Delta departure, runway 35 left.
Can start the
Initial climb
APU as well.
5,000 feet, squawk 6430.
Flaps are
We
up.
are Welling 245, we are clear to Athens, departure runway 35 left, Imbus 4 Delta.
We can
departure
stop the
5,000
timer
feet,
as well.
initial flight level, and squawk 6430.
Let's start the chrono so that 2
Welling
minutes
245,
after
is that correct?
we can do a single
we'll
engine
go for
taxi.
pushback in 2 minutes.
Whether radar can
Roger.
come off. Now, of course, we need to find out where is our gate, which we said is Bravo 1 left. So let's see, Bravo 1 left. Okay, I see. It's going to be via Bravo and then Echo Link. Now let's just make sure. Charlie and then Echo Link. Alright,
6009, and no further ATC, monitor Unicom 122.8.
I think it's all good. APU is available.
6009, 1 Unicom. Ignat.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Welling 245, ready for pushback and start.
Welling 245, stand Delta 13. Correction. Welling 245, just squawk Mo Charlie, transponder on please.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Welling 245, stand Delta 13, push and start approved. Face north, QNH 1020.
Facing north, 1020.
Bravo 1 left. Echo Link. This is interesting because on my scenery I do not see echo link. Believe now it's time to get through onto echo, possibly. Or not. But let's go. And so Bravo 1 left we don't have.
Well, Tower Sheik 139, mic check. Sheik 139, Istanbul Tower, good evening, readability 5.
It's
Tower Sheik 139, requesting clearance delivery to Macedonia, type A320 with Gulf.
Sheik 139, cleared to destination as filed. Abape for Delta departure, runway 35 left. Initial climb 5,000 feet, squawk 6420.
Clear to destination as filed via the purpose for Delta departure. Expect runway 35 left.
okay, now
Initial climb 5,000 and 6420 on the squawk 139.
Sheik 139, read back correct.
I'm not sure whether we are texting the correct way, but our gate is somewhere over there.
Istanbul Tower, Speedbird 510, fully established on runway 35 right.
Engine 2 off, of course.
Speedbird 51 Zulu, roger, continue approach number 2.
Missed our clock. Got distracted while looking for the gate, but it's fine. We do a single engine taxi now all the way to the gate. I don't know. My thinking here is that he didn't say echo link, he said echo 8. That makes a lot more sense, because this one we are on now is echo 8. Left is clear, right is clear. Now of course we don't have Bravo 1 left in the GSX profile.
Runway 35 right via Tango 5, November 2, Charlie and Charlie 5 Alpha.
Sorry sir, you said 35 right or 35 left?
Welling 245, you're initially taxiing to hold short of 35 right. Further instruction will be given for crossing.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Okay, so sorry, can you say again the instruction?
And
Welling 245, taxi hold on point
our
runway 35
gate
right via Tango 5,
is Bravo 1 left,
Charlie
which I
and Charlie
believe
5 Alpha.
is this one.
Taxi 5, November 2, Charlie and Charlie Alpha, short for runway 35 right.
I think I would rather ask for Bravo 1. Tower, any chance Turkish 146 can get Bravo 1 just for GSX profile over here?
Hey, I'm taxi Bravo 1.
Bravo 1 for Turkish 146. Okay, actually no need to follow that line. We can switch off these lights so that we don't blind our air marshal. Whoops. Of course we are going to be a little bit skew.
Speedbird 51 Zulu, number 2 in the queue. The wind 03018 knots, runway 35 right.
I'll take that.
Clear to land, plan to vacate.
APU is on, APU bleed can go on, and the
Plan to vacate on Charlie 10, clear to land runway 35 right, Speedbird 510.
Of course we are not getting any more instructions on VATSIM. A bit too far in, of course, and askew as we thought. we have a message from Turkish operations, possibly just our arrival message, which is okay over here. So let's start deboarding the passengers. Wing lights can come off, beacon light can come off, seatbelt sign off, and begin the deboarding process. Welcome to Istanbul, everyone. After landing checklist, exterior lights are set, flaps are set to 0, spoilers are disarmed, APU is on, weather radar is off, TCAS can go to standby. And then engine 2 shutdown, yellow electric pump is on, that's always on by default. I think this should stay on auto because then we can set this to 2000. Okay, parking checklist, yellow electric pump off. That we can do later actually. Anyway, fuel pumps off as well. Let's connect to the external power. We also don't need the nav anymore, so that can come off. And let's deboard the passengers. VATSIM event, I'm sure it's about to start now, so it's going to get a lot busier very soon. I mean, I can't see these markings on here, but apparently we are parked a little bit too inward, but there isn't a mark over there. That's interesting. Sun is setting over Istanbul. Okay, passengers are deboarded, so we can switch off the APU already. Crew supply can come off as well. Yellow electric pump is supposed to be off. Yellow electric pump off.
Welling 245, no further ATC, 1 Unicom 122.8.
Engines are off, cabin doors are going disarmed, the beacon light is off, seatbelt signs are off as well. Yes. Transponder can be set to standby.
Echo 9, Charlie 4 Alpha.
We'll set it to standby afterwards because we don't want anyone coming to spawn at the gate here. Nav and logo lights can come off as well. And this is baggage is also completely removed, so we can disconnect the jetway and the stairs. APU is still available, so we wait for that. And there's the APU switching off. Okay, APU is off, so we can switch off the aircraft now. So battery is off, and external power off. Transponder can go onto standby. And with that, we have come to the end of our flight. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.